The rain tasted of ash. Elias Thorne, private investigator specializing in matters unusual, knew that taste well. It clung to the back of his throat, a grim souvenir of the Blackwood Estate and the unsettling events that had drawn him there. He pulled his fedora lower, the brim shielding his eyes from the relentless downpour that lashed against the cobblestone streets of Hull Creek, Pennsylvania. The summons had been cryptic, a single embossed card bearing only the Blackwood family crest and the chilling phrase, "A debt must be paid." Elias wasn't one to shy away from unsettling requests. He'd seen things that would curdle the blood of lesser men, and he was paid handsomely for his services. The Blackwood Estate loomed before him, a gothic monstrosity of dark stone and shattered windows. Locals whispered of it, tales of a family curse, of strange rituals and unexplained disappearances. The current patriarch, Mr. Silas Blackwood, was a recluse, rarely seen outside the estate's sprawling grounds. He was greeted at the imposing oak doors by a blond, nervous man who introduced himself as Mr. Abernathy, the estate's butler. Abernathy's eyes darted around as if expecting something to jump out of the shadows. "Mr. Blackwood awaits you in the library," Abernathy said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Please follow me." The interior of the estate was even more oppressive than its exterior. Thick carpets muffled every footstep, and the air hung heavy with the scent of dust and decay. Portraits of stern-faced Blackwood ancestors lined the walls, their eyes seemingly following Elias's every move. The library was a cavernous room filled with towering shelves of ancient tomes and arcane artifacts. Silas Blackwood, a man of advanced years with a pallid complexion and unsettlingly bright eyes, sat behind a massive mahogany desk. "Mr. Thorne," Blackwood said, his voice raspy, "thank you for coming. I require your assistance with a situation." Blackwood explained that a series of unsettling events had plagued the estate in recent weeks. Objects moved on their own, disembodied voices echoed through the halls, and the family's ancestral relic, the Obsidian Mirror, had begun to exhibit disturbing properties. "The mirror," Blackwood said, his voice laced with fear, "is a gateway. It allows glimpses beyond." The Obsidian Mirror, a large, ornate mirror framed in black obsidian, stood against one wall. Its surface was reflective, but rather seemed to shimmer with an oily, viscous quality. As Elias approached, he felt a distinct chill in the air. "My grandfather acquired it during an expedition to Mesopotamia," Blackwood continued. "He believed it held the key to understanding the cosmos, but he made a grave mistake. He opened a door he couldn't close." Blackwood had hired Elias to investigate the source of the disturbances and, if possible, to seal whatever Blackwood's grandfather had unleashed. Elias agreed, though a nagging sense of foreboding settled in his stomach. He had dealt with spectral entities and malevolent spirits before, but something about this felt different, more profound. Elias began his investigation, meticulously examining the estate's history and the family's occult practices. He interviewed the remaining Blackwood family members, Silas's daughter, Elena, a fragile woman haunted by nightmares, and his nephew, Arthur, a cynical young man with a penchant for sarcasm. Both seemed genuinely terrified. He discovered that the Blackwood family had a long history of dabbling in forbidden knowledge, conducting rituals and experiments that bordered on madness. The Obsidian Mirror was at the center of their obsession, a conduit to realms beyond human comprehension. As Elias delved deeper, he began to experience strange occurrences himself. Whispers followed him through the halls, shadows danced in his peripheral vision, and he felt an unsettling presence watching him. The Obsidian Mirror seemed to beckon him, its buff surface swirling with hypnotic patterns. One night, while examining the mirror, Elias had a vision, a fleeting glimpse of a vast, alien landscape populated by grotesque, insectoid creatures. A voice, cold and ancient, echoed in his mind, speaking in a language he didn't understand, yet somehow comprehending. He realized that Blackwood's grandfather hadn't simply opened a door. He had torn a hole in the fabric of reality, creating a conduit between their world and a dimension of unimaginable horrors. The creatures he had glimpsed were not merely spectral entities, they were beings of cosmic scale, ancient and malevolent, hungry for a new domain. Elias reported his findings to Blackwood, who was visibly shaken. "There's nothing we can do?" he asked, his voice trembling. "There's one option," Elias replied. "The ritual Blackwood's grandfather used to open the conduit can be reversed. It requires a sacrifice, a binding force to seal the gateway." Blackwood hesitated, then, nodding grimly. "I understand the gravity of the situation. I will perform the ritual." That night, under a blood-red moon, Elias and Blackwood conducted the reversal ritual in the library. The air crackled with energy as Blackwood chanted the ancient incantation, his voice strained and desperate. The obsidian mirror pulsed with an unearthly light, its surface swirling with chaotic patterns. As the ritual reached its climax, a monstrous form began to manifest from the mirror, a towering silhouette of tentacles and eyes radiating an aura of unimaginable dread. A guttural roar echoed through the library, shaking the very foundations of the estate. The sacrifice, Elias reminded Blackwood. Blackwood, with a look of profound sadness, turned towards Elena, his daughter. "I am so sorry," he whispered, before completing the final verse of the incantation. A blinding flash of light engulfed the library. When Elias could see again, Elena was gone. The monstrous form receded back into the mirror, its image distorted and fading. The obsidian mirror went still, its surface once again dark and unreflective. The gateway was sealed, but the victory felt hollow. Elias knew that sealing the gateway was merely a temporary solution. The creatures on the other side would not simply vanish. They would be waiting, probing, searching for another opportunity to breach the barrier. As he prepared to leave the Blackwood estate, Silas Blackwood stopped him. "Thank you, Mr. Thorne," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. "You have saved us from a terrible fate." "You're welcome," Elias replied, "but I have a feeling this is not the end." He turned and walked away, the rain still falling, tasting of ash. He knew that the Blackwood estate, and the world beyond, held secrets he would likely never fully understand, and he knew with a chilling certainty that the darkness would return. He noticed a small obsidian shard lying on the cobblestones. He picked it up. It felt warm. He looked down the road. The shape moved in the distance, quickly disappearing into the swirling rain. He couldn't make out what it was, but it left him with a feeling that he was not alone.